We want to help raise your awareness on what your kids are talking about each Sunday, and we're going to do that on the other side. Hey River Kids families, Justin here with River Kids Children's Ministry. And today I just really want to quickly cover what your kids talked about yesterday, because I really think it's going to help you guys launch really well into this week. We want to be able to give you some tools and tips. That's what this whole YouTube channel is all about. Fun, helpful, to give you tips to point your kids to Christ and one another in healthier and deeper ways. And it's going to help you do the same thing as you have these conversations with your kids. But we know that those can kind of be scary, and how do we do it and all that. Well, a great start is at least just knowing what your kids talked about. Asking them that question, you never really know what you're going to get, right? So straight from us, here's what we talked about yesterday. So if you have a child from 2 to VPK, that's really when our curriculum kind of kicks in. With the babies and ones, we just do some very simple play and talking to them about how much God loves them. From 2 to VPK, we really start getting into the curriculum that we have, doing little Bible stories and little activities surrounding that. So for the whole month of January, we have been talking about how Jesus can do anything. Jesus can do anything, right? So what we specifically looked at yesterday was in John chapter 2, verses 1 through 11, when Jesus was at a wedding and turned water into a super fancy party drink, which is what we talked about with the kids, right? Parents, you know what I'm talking about, right? So you don't have to cover that necessarily, because then you get the follow-up question, what is that, right? And then you got to kind of try and whittle your way around that. So that's how we said it, just to give you guys an idea, all right? So we encourage you guys to look that up with your kids. All right, now we know they can't read, and we know that the reading might be kind of boring for them. So don't necessarily feel like you have to read all the way through those 10 verses. But what you can do is at least show them that you're holding the Bible. We have found that that is very helpful for these kids, that they consistently see you holding the Bible, they see you looking into it, and it really builds a great foundation for them later on, because they start to remember, oh yeah, mom and dad always kind of had that around. So that is what we covered. Jesus can do anything, and John 2, 1 through 11. And so we hope that that just gives you a great base to kind of launch this week and talk about with your kids about how Jesus can do anything. Now, what about the older kids? In our kindergarten through 5th grade, we have been talking about commitment all month long, all right? We're making a plan and we're sticking with it, right? So we're talking about commitment, all right? And with that, we've had some great Bible stories and some great passages that we've talked about just yesterday, to give you some conversation starters for this week. We looked at the book of Mark, chapter 12, verses 41 through 44. Some of you might know this one, you've heard it before. This is the widow, the poor widow, giving her 2 coins into the offering at the temple. Jesus calls his disciples over and tells them how much more she truly gave than all these rich people that are dumping physical large sums of money in there, because from her heart she literally had nothing, and yet she's still giving all of that. And so we really had a chance to unwrap that, and what does that mean? Where's the heart set? We started talking about a very basic conversation of giving and tithing to something you believe in, part of it being, the church and all that kind of stuff. So those are some great conversations that you can have. We really encourage you to get into the Bible with them. They are being able to read, or parts of reading, so we really encourage you. This is the Bible that we use, a little bit different. Ours is the NIRV, the reader version, makes it a little bit simpler for the kids, but we really encourage you. And even if you get into the table of contents, how do you find Bible verses? Those are things that we're doing here. If you continue those practices throughout the week, it just helps them learn faster and faster. They can find Bible books and then verses even quicker, right? So we encourage you to get in there and look at these verses with your kids, and maybe it just starts some really good conversations out of that, okay? So that's what we covered with your kids. We hope that this was helpful. We hope that it creates some great conversations this week. Obviously, if you're wondering how and all that kind of stuff, hit us up, let us know. We want to help you. We want to give you those tools and those tips and just hints and just different things that we can do to help you have the best conversations for discipling your kids in your home during the week. Thank you guys so much for checking this out, and we'll catch you next time. Hey everyone, as always, thank you so much for checking out these videos. We really hope that they're encouraging and helpful for you guys. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe, please do that. It's simply just to keep you guys the most up to date and trying to give you guys as many tools and different varieties of tools that we can, and this is just one of them. So there's a button right here that you can subscribe on to click, or there's one below the video. You can do that as well. If you haven't had a chance to check out some of our other videos, they'll be over here. Please do that. There's some great things in there. All right, thank you so much, and we will see you later.